Yeah, he's really not important except for those two things, right? The name and
the name and the DNA. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the name of the game. Yep. Welcome back to Short Pour, where we're your hosts. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brandon.
And this episode, we are revisiting Fat Tire, which to literally everybody else seems weird.
It's new. Yeah.
It's new because we have actually done this beer before. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. For Fat Tire itself, it is from New Belgium Brewing Company. And they say that Fat Tire's unique flavor profile originates from 1930s Belgium. During this era, small breweries began offering easy drinking beer crafted with signature Belgian yeast in order to satisfy the tastes of visiting British soldiers. British soldiers. Today, Fat Tire blends a subtle malt presence with a slightly fruity hop profile and a crisp finish to create a bright and balanced beer that drinks easy anywhere. So, we have done this episode. We've done this beer with a completely different topic.
Yep.
Different format.
Yep.
Way earlier. And we had a guest even. My friend Nate came on and he talked about it because this was the one he picked.
Yes, because he was going to be our first guest. He was going to be our first actual guest.
Yeah, and we had a great conversation with him. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was about barbecuing.
Grilling, best grilling beers.
And obviously nobody else heard that because I messed up. I forgot to download the file, and then after a few days it was gone. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So it was gone. We just
remember.
Lost it. So I messed that up. So we're rewriting that part of the history now, and to write over it, we're gonna need something to block it out. So what would you use to block something out and then write over it again?
A Glasgow block? Glasgow block?
What the fuck is that?
It's the stupid thing from Severance.
Oh my god!
But then I butchered trying to say it.
Well, I was hoping that you would say Whiteout.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Whiteout today.
All right. Wait. We got to drink the beer.
Oh, shit.
Because we've already done this before. That's why.
Yeah, I've already tasted this one. All right, let's try it again.
Let's see if I can fake a first reaction.
Can we put the dogs outside? Thank you. Sorry, fucking dogs.
We need a producer.
We need a dedicated room.
Yeah.
We need a studio.
We do need a studio. Tastes good.
Tastes good. Yeah. I will say, the first time I ever had Fat Tire, I was I wasn't super about it. But now I'm oh no, this is good. Nice light golden beer.
Do you remember when you had it?
Yeah, it was when I was in college, and it was one of the ones where I was trying to get into more craft beer. And it was one of the ones that I don't know, I'll just try this. And I don't know, I didn't really like it. It was too big of a deviation.
Yeah,
at the time.
It I guess the recipe changed around 2019 or something.
Oh, I did definitely try it before 2019.
Okay, so you tried the old one.
Yeah.
That you didn't like.
Yeah. And then from what I remember, it was it was more bitter. It was more hoppy probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I probably just didn't like that.
Right. Yeah. I was saying it's one of those things you just can't appreciate it.
Yeah. If I were to go back now and drink it, I'd be oh no, this is great. Which, do people like the old recipe better?
Yeah, they like the old one better.
Yeah. Okay. So I would probably like it better now. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, I like it. Tastes good.
I have had this since we originally recorded that, which was almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
oh, this is the same can?
It's the same can. Oh.
No,
and you can tell I'm that guy who had it in the car for a year or whatever.
Oh,
it's been almost a year.
Damn. All right.
So take that with a grain of salt. But so Whiteout is actually a brand name.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't realize that before. So really, the topic should be correction fluid.
Oh,
isn't that so clinical and disgusting?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Correctional fluid.
Wait. Is Liquid Paper also a brand name?
Liquid Paper is also a brand name.
Okay, I was
talking about that one.
That's what I thought was the actual like name for it.
Okay, well, that's actually really great. I didn't know that, or I didn't like that. Wasn't the one I think of when I think of just like correction fluid, whatever. I think whiteout.
No, I think of whiteout too. Sorry, I thought liquid paper was the like generic term for all of those things. Like
I didn't even know what liquid paper was though. But I'm glad that you said that. That's awesome. So there are a few brands, and usually people will just say, I guess throughout history since it's been invented, people will just call it whatever the biggest brand name is at the time. So
Kleenex.
There's been Whiteout.
Yeah.
Which one?
Kleenex.
Oh, yeah, it's like Kleenex, Coke.
Coke, yeah.
So there's Whiteout, Correct X.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about specifically.
I'm talking about, yeah, correction.
You never
fluid.
called your Whiteout Kleenex?
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry. I got lost.
Whiteout.
Yeah.
Correct X.
Okay.
Liquid Paper.
Yep.
Presto with an exclamation point.
That.
I like that one. That one's fun. Tip X, which apparently the leading one like in Europe. And Snowpake.
Snowpake.
Which sounds like a Pokemon to me.
Yes. Yes.
Snowpake. Snowpake. So the story of correction fluid starts with Betty Claire McMurray, who would later be known as Betty Naismith Graham.
Oh. Naismith?
Yeah.
Does that tie into the story at all?
A little bit, but probably not in the way you're thinking.
I'm thinking of James Naismith.
Who was?
The inventor of basketball.
Yeah. No, not him. Okay, so at 17 years old, she drops out of high school to attend secretary school and marries her high school sweetheart, Warren Naismith. So that's where Naismith comes in. He is like, he's not important to the story at all.
Okay.
Really. So they get married, and he gives her two important contributions to Betty's life. He gives her the name, and he gives her a son, Michael. And then he went to go fight in World War II, so she was raising the infant son alone. Whenever he came back, they got divorced.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it really, yeah, he's really not important except for those two things, right? The name and the
name
son.
and the DNA. That's all.
Yeah. And that's the name of the game.
Yep.
Okay, so while he was away, I guess Betty was like an artist always, but once he left, she had to like, I guess, start taking secretary-inism seriously, being a secretary seriously.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you ever, like those movies where like I guess they're like usually World War II movies, but they show those like entire rooms filled with women.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, so like, it was a huge deal, right? And there was a lot of clerical things that just needed to be put on paper, and typewriters were like the main way of doing that, right? So she was a secretary, and she used a typewriter. So I guess like during this time, she somehow worked her way up to being the executive secretary for the chairman of the Texas Bank and Trust. And I guess like she was good at her job, but apparently she was like a terrible typist.
Wow.
She made a bunch of errors. Like, I don't know, like everywhere I looked, like it noted, like she was not good at using the typewriter.
That seems like the number one like skill.
I know, that's why I'm like amazed at like
it.
how she like got to be his secretary or whatever, you know what I mean? But apparently she was a good secretary, but she made a lot of errors.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I guess like, now she was a single mother raising her son. And I guess she just kind of like put her nose to the ground, and like I guess she would like put in the time to just redo all the work, because at the time you could either try to erase it, but I guess it would like just smudge, or if there was a mistake, you just had to retype the whole page.
Damn. Yeah.
Right. And I guess she would do that. She would just retype it. So that wasn't like super sustainable for her to like do that, and like it'd take even more time.
That seems like very much the definition. That's the working harder, not smarter. That is like the why.
Yes, yeah, that is the definition. So I guess one day at the bank, she was like on a break, and she's outside. It was during the winter, And I guess for the holidays, they like were painting a mural on the side of the bank.
Yeah.
And I guess she was just watching and like watching the people paint. And she was an artist before. So she was watching the people paint the mural. And she noticed like they had somebody who like if somebody would like paint on accident, like outside of a line, they would have somebody else come through and wait a little bit. And they would just like paint over it and keep the borders like really clean.
Yeah.
And so that gave her the idea. She was like, well, wait a minute. I've got a shit ton of paints at the house. So what she did was she brought in a can of like painters, like paint, like white paint, and a little like watercolor brush. And so then she just started like painting over in white on her mistakes. And then she would like fix it with like by hand.
Yeah.
And then I guess she said that like her bosses like didn't notice for a while. And so like that kind of like was the original idea. And I guess during this time she started like working on like, I guess it was probably like too thick. So then she started like adding different things and like cutting it.
Yes.
And making it
Thin
like
it
more.
out, yeah.
Yeah. Thinning out. And so I guess like because her bosses didn't like notice, other secretaries in the office were like, I want that. So then she started selling it to the girls in her office. And I guess what she did was like originally she would just put the paint, she would keep her old nail polish tubes.
Oh, yes.
And she would just clean them out and she would put the mixture in there.
Yep.
And then she would like hand those out and sell those to the other girls. And that was a lot easier because it was a lot smaller. And I guess it was like a big thing too, because it wasn't like it was like illegal or like wrong. But they also were like, I guess when it started, like they weren't sure like they were supposed to be doing that because it was new.
Right. Yeah.
So they didn't think they were supposed to be doing that. So like nobody questioned, oh, if this lady's walking around the office with a little thing of nail polish.
Yeah.
Nobody like, okay, whatever. So like it was like a discreet way for them to use it too.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's also, I mean, like, that's basically what it looks like now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They pretty much just like iterated on that exact formula. So she'd been selling it at work. And finally, like a marketer approaches her and asks her if she wanted to try to like make it an official product. And we're going to find out what she named it after this break.
Hey, just a real quick update. You can still buy Presto.
Really?
Sorry, you can still buy Presto.
What? Where do they sell it?
Amazon.
Okay, so it's like an American
it's just
thing.
Like Pentel, Staples, Office Supply.
Presto.
Yeah, it's just like these little like pens.
I love it.
Office Depot. I kind of want to get one.
Just to say you got some Presto.
Yeah, I don't really write.
Presto at the disco.
Yeah.
Okay, so she named it Mistake Out. And that was like what she rolled with at the beginning. So she like had like an underground business with the name Mistake Out for a bit. And I guess at some point while she was like refining the formula and stuff, somebody along the line told her like, that's a stupid name.
Yeah. So
So she changed it to Liquid Paper.
yeah.
So she filed the patent under the name Liquid Paper. So that was like the first. So that's why I thought it was cool at the beginning that you like were like, oh, I thought the generic name was Liquid Paper because that was the actual first name brand.
Yeah.
Of it. So they start producing it, right? And she hires her son, who is now like a teenager, and his friends to start bottling it in their garage. And like during this time too, she like pays them. She's still filling old nail polish bottles.
Yeah.
With it, right? So I guess like they were experimenting with the formula still, and they were also like experimenting with like the brushes. So I guess she even had them like have scissors, and they had to like cut at like a 45-degree angle all of the nail polish brushes.
Oh yeah.
Because that's easier to be able
Like
to
a fine
see
tip.
where you're actually like pointing the tip of it.
Yes.
And using it
you have an angle.
because you have
so
an
just
angle and
straight
your
down.
hand gets out of the way. Yeah. So they made some of those breakthroughs during that time. And some point in there, she got remarried to a guy named, I don't remember, but the last name Graham. And he's even less important than Warren was.
Oh.
Because again, the only thing he gave her was like, she's known professionally as Betty Naismith Graham. She kept both names for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's where Graham comes from, is just some other guy. But so during this time, she ends up getting fired from her position at the bank because she was spending too much time on this side project. And they were like, hey, your work's suffering, whatever, so they fire her. So now she's like,
Just gotta commit.
yeah, she's all in, right? So she goes all in, And I guess she sent like a marketing like tool, and she sent like 2 different papers to a bunch of different companies. And one was like with the same errors, and one was fixed with like eraser marks, like the traditional way, and one was fixed with liquid paper and then rewritten in with hand, right? And I guess she sent it to IBM, and she was like really banking on like IBM being like they're gonna take this, right? And I guess they said they like laughed in her face and were like, yeah, right. Like, no, right? But one of the other companies responded back several months later, and that was General Electric, and they picked her up.
Yep.
And so that was her first like major client. And I mean, there were different like interviews with her obviously around this time, or like after the fact, about that time period. And I mean, she was like, it was really scary. Like, she was a single mom. She had lost her job, and she's like, I'm trying this product. She took a big swing. Like, if you think about it too, like she was like a businesswoman in a time where like that wasn't a thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
when she was supposed to be a secretary.
60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she dropped out of high school, you know, like, so she was just trying to really like make this work. And the General Electric account like really saved her, I think. Because she was like, I don't want to say she was like making like a loss, but like the profit margins were like not sustainable.
What she time. Like supplied all of the liquid paper like for General Electric, like it was like basically like they'll agree to like buy a bunch from her.
Yeah, so they got an order of 400 cases of it, right? And so then she was like, well, shit, like now I gotta start. Yeah, now I gotta fill it. So then she got like a plant. They started making their own actual stuff like in house, things like that. They grew. After General Electric got in on it and like they started using it, a bunch of other big companies got in on it too. And guess who came crawling back? IBM came crawling back. And like apparently they were like one of their biggest suppliers to like a big account. Yeah. But it's like one of those things that some of the articles like made a note of being like, they initially said no, and then like later they came back and like paid a higher price then too, because they used it still. So at the height of production, which was around like 1979, Liquid Paper was making 25 million bottles per year.
Jeez.
And in that same year, 1979, she sold the company for $47.5 million, which translated to today's money would be the equivalent of $208 million. So like
pretty sweet payday.
Yeah, she had like a fortune at that point. Tragically, she died within the year that she sold it of a stroke.
Oh, how old was she at this time?
56.
She
died of a stroke a year after, or like within a year of selling the company.
Yeah.
So she didn't even really get to like reap the benefits of just like enjoying what she had built.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, her family was set though. Like her.
So, right, she had gotten married, divorced, gotten married again, divorced that other guy again.
Yeah.
Right. So the only family that she had was her son Michael. Right. So the entire fortune got left to him. However, he didn't really like need it, because during this whole time, he had made his own small fortune and fame. He was Michael Naismith, who was a member of the Monkees.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so he was like famous also.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of those things that like they tacked on at the end. It was like, oh yeah, and her son was a member of the Monkees. He was like on TV all the time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's all I got. That's like the history of correctional fluid. What?
The proof is in the pudding.
What is it?
The proof.
In the pudding?
It's in the pudding.
The proof?
The proof.
It's in the pudding.
It's in the P-R. It's in the pudding.
I love that we both went to the same direction and it didn't work, but we were both going there.
No. I just didn't know where you were
P-R oof. It's in the pudding.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
All right, you want to take it to the streets? So we've got this. I'm the guy people on these forums hate. Started drinking craft with experimental stouts and unfiltered haze bombs. So while I can and do appreciate the bitter joy of a classic IPA, my taste is modern.
What
does that mean?
What is a haze bomb?
I assume just like a real hazy IPA.
Why do they call it that though? Why don't they just say hazy IPAs? Real haze bomb.
His taste is modern. You wouldn't understand.
Okay, he is the kind of guy I hate on these
He
forums.
said, he told you.
Yeah,
from
he
the
embraces
jump.
it. He's
said,
embracing
"You
the
don't
villain
like
role.
me."
Oh my god.
All right, so he continues. And this beer is good. I realize this is not the amber ale of old, no biscuit malt in sight, but this is a fusion of cold IPA and golden ale that is actually really remarkable. I had Old Fat Tire countless times, and even with a refined palate, the post-2019 recipe was nothing special. I know that's not going to align with a lot of people here, but hey, that's my opinion.
That's it?
It ends with a tip. Try Bell's Amber Ale and come back to me.
So did people reply to him?
No, I didn't see any reply.
Yeah, I'm sure not. Oh my god.
No.
Hey, maybe, you know what we should do?
Reply?
We should try Bell's Amber Ale and reply to him.
Oh, yeah.
But let's do it.
We can, yeah.
Let's do it.
We can.
Why not?
Yeah.
And be like, nah, you're full of shit, dude. You're the kind of guy I hate.
You're the kind of guy I hate. Thanks for listening. As always, if you want to like or subscribe, please follow us on Instagram at shortpourpodcast or send us a suggestion through email at shortpourpod@gmail.com.
And as always, whether you pour short
Or pour long.
always finish.